Learn to be super successful. Subscribe to my channel, Meathead. They've tried this Neom, they didn't call it Neom, for 65 years. They've tried to get rid of this land, this 25,000 square hectares, I think, which is a joint venture between Saudi, Egypt a little bit, and, I can't think of the third one now. What? Jordan, thank you. Jordan. And they name it something else every time, and this time, Klaus Kleinfeld, who got him to do the deal, they've been trying to give this land away for 70 fucking years. And it's going to be where women have rights and all this. But that ain't going to happen where's the kid? In the redhead's kid's lifetime, that ain't going to happen. Why? Because you're stupid. The public is stupid. They want to believe that the old man and the descendants, we're going to stop using fossil fuel oil when Saudi Arabia runs out of fucking oil. That's when. Not a day before. And even Greta understands that. Blah, 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 blah. I have 4 or 5 kids in Saudi, Arabic speaking. One's a real Saudi, in fact. And they have 51,000 princes, last time I counted. And the cheapest prince, or the lowest prince on the, totem pole. You've heard of totem poles? Actually, totem pole, the lowest one is the highest ranking. It's not the highest one. The highest one is not, he needs to be closer to God, so they put him on, he was the worst off. But anyway, the lowest guy, prince, gets about 250 grand a year, 20 grand a month. I'm also familiar with Al-Sabaz in Kuwait, which I'm not going to shit where I ate, so I don't have anything bad to say about it. Kuwaitis treated me like a prince, though. I mean, the Al-Sabaz family was really super to me. So I'm not saying anything bad about them. And they're really on the liberal end. They don't partake. So now you've got your first deal. And assuming it's seller finance, I mean, you're off to the races. And you're a short millionaire. Because you're going to own 60 to 65% of it. And the average first deal is about $1.2 million, $1.3 million. And you're off to the races. Then all of a sudden you're a millionaire. Which doesn't mean dick. I mean, fuck. I'm not sure I could spend $1 million on dinner, but I probably could. Sally could. I don't know about me, but Sally could figure out a way. Helicopters and shit, and if you wanted to spend $1 million in the old days, you hired Michael Jackson to do your party. And you didn't even have to pay him. Because his booking system, his financial department was so fucked up. I mean, the payables or receivables were like 4 years, 4.5 years, 8 years. So now you've got your first deal, and I mean, I do a deal and I just keep next farm, next business, next floor. I like Manhattan because you could do 80, 90, 100 cold calls in a day, knocking on the door. Easy. Well, you would be sweating because because I was drinking and eating so much, I used to walk up the stairs. And you can't walk, well, I couldn't, 70, 80 floors without sweating. My fucking, my suit would be soaked. So, and during the summer, Manhattan is it's a hellhole. I mean, it's just unbelievable. We used to, from 27th and Lexington to Wall Street, only 27 streets away, your suit would be, in the old tube system, soaked. You take your coat and your vest off, and they would dry out. Now, I know guys that took their pants off in the office to dry. Your underwear never dries out. And your shirt, used to have 10, 12 clean shirts on your desk. That's how, now, how's the tubes now? Yeah? Oh, okay. And you used to be able to go around the corner from my apartment. I lived at the Bed Bug, I already told you. And you'd get a steak sandwich, a beer, like a half a liter of beer, and a salad and French fries for $6.45. I went back about 15 years later, same place, the neighborhood bar. Looked like the same bartender in fact, same sandwiches, $28 or something, if I remember correctly. And now it's probably 48. Yeah. But if you want to learn any business, New York City is a great melting pot. I mean, like the song says, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. That's pretty true. If you can make it in Romania, you can't make it anywhere. You know, you go to Romania to fail, you go to Manhattan to succeed. Okay, so now you got your first deal, and we'll go into detail how. Remember, it's we're going to just say it's a $1 million deal, or €1 million deal, or £1 million deal, and that's it. Now we're going to go through the financing and the structuring of the deals tomorrow, and we're going to start with the seller finance deal, 100%, and then we're going to wind up with the 60-40, which is the current jewel that anybody can do the deal, 60-40. And then we're going to show you an example of how you monkeys do it, even after coming to this seminar. I won't bet my life, but I bet one of your lives that not one of you will do the first deal right. I bet a fatso here, Romanian, pig chop here, I bet his life that, my microphone thing, nobody will do it correctly, the first one. Because you're going to be in such a hurry to get a deal done, you'll do anything. It's like a drowning man will grab a piece of straw to support his weight. And no matter what I tell you, no matter how many tin plates and these guys don't have you, you're still going to. It's like Andrea said so in such an articulate manner. I finally got a call on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, a guy interested in selling his business. He was thrilled. He was overcome. And it was, it was a joke though. Now, another thing, sometimes I forget to say this. A third of the people that you're going to find out motivated sellers are kicking the tires just to see what their business is worth. Everybody understand kicking the tires? How do you say that in Romanian? You can't speak Romanian either. Okay, fine. Kicking the fucking tires. And they'll take you right down and they'll negotiate with you like they're going to do the deal. And some guys are smart enough to know LOI doesn't mean dick. They'll sign an LOI and then not do it. And you don't have money to fight them. But they'll do it just to see what they're worth. Which is, the antithesis of honor, moral, ethics, honesty. But all those words mean different things to different people. And what's moral and ethical in Mobile, Alabama, or Atlanta, Georgia, or Electra, Texas, ain't in New York City, where the Yankees are. And in the Southern, they still call them Yankees. There are people in the Carolinas, the South shall rise again. That's not bullshit. And the parts of the United States, well, I'm still a Mexican wetback. There's only 4 cities in America that can say my last name properly. And for the other ethnicities, the Jewish and Arab, I'm at the good end of of harassment and racism, opposed to Jew, Arab. They're at the bottom end, wrongfully, but the Mexican, you fucking Mexican wetback, and they don't mean it in a derogatory way. They're being a complimentary that you got out of fucking Mexico illegally. It's, remember my dad said, sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. It's not what they say to you, Danny. It's how you interpret it. Now, when I tell a boy, hey, lard ass, this is a girl, hey, lard ass, come over here. I wouldn't be calling her lard ass and then come over here if I wasn't interested. Right? So it's a compliment. But I've been slapped in the face for calling chicks lard ass before. Didn't mean I didn't sleep with them. It's how you interpret these words. And for some, I've told you this before, some of the people you're going to talk to keep their money in a fucking cigar box. So how fucking sophisticated? They don't know a spreadsheet from a fucking menu. They don't. Not just in America, European countries. You go up near my favorite, Vlad, the Impaler, Transylvania, they keep their money in a fucking bread box, not even a cigar box. And all those Eastern countries, former Iron Curtain countries, I mean, they talk like fucking drunken sailors. And then we got you that wouldn't say shit if it was in your mouth. And we got soldiers that won't carry guns. God almighty. I don't know how I go to sleep at night. Okay, any questions? Yes, sir.
When you say that we go see the sellers and we cut a deal with them, you mean an LOI?
Ask me that again. Where are you from?
Chile.
Qué barbaridad. Ay, Dios mío. Anyway, ask me again.
When we go see the sellers and cut a deal with them, that means an LOI?
No. Well, right, when you're doing it that way, the LOI is the deal. I mean, you're doing the deal. No, there's no LOI. You're just doing the deal.
Okay.
You don't have to have an LOI. When you're doing it like I did it, and some of the kids doing it, you're there and you cut a deal right there. And it's followed up with a sales purchase agreement or some other kind of contract, but you're doing the deal right there. When you're doing LOIs, it's because you're gathering these LOIs together to present to the board, and then you're going to go out after you get the board's approval, and you can spend between 1 and 8 million euros or 8 million pounds, okay? None of these deals are going to cost more than 2 million. And you go out, and then you go to the owner, and you negotiate the final LOI. An LOI isn't a purchase agreement. LOI is their intention. Some people just say it's a letter of interest, which means shit, it means nothing. You don't have to have an LOI if you just go and do this hammer close. But I'm not suggesting you do that because most of you in this room will fuck it up. Yes, ma'am.
I was going to ask you about it, but you said I'm going to fuck it up. But I'm going to ask anyways. So you were saying that if we do it the way that you were doing it,
I didn't have the LOI.
We wouldn't even need to get the board's approval for anything.
No. See, now you're getting the horse before the cart, is that right? The cart before the horse.
Yeah.
You're getting the cart before the horse. No. You build a board. You have 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 deals to talk about. You have already gotten the LOIs. Okay? They approve 3/4 or all of the LOIs. Then you go out and you go to negotiate the final purchase agreement, or in some places they call it the final LOI. I had a board approval to do $100 million in deals, and I would do the LOIs on the spot. Now, I'm an experienced guy. You're not. So the board just said, Dan, go out and spend $100 million. The board, no fucking board that you guys are going to get together and just going to tell you to go out and spend $100 million. If they got any brains anyway. Because they're indirectly liable. And the reason why Andreas' board, which I'm the chairman of, was hesitant to give him too much latitude is because, they don't want to get in trouble. And directly or indirectly, depending on what kind of fuck-up Andreas would do, the board members would be liable. Now, I've seen the kid, kid doesn't make mistakes. Although the first board meeting, it's pissing down rain. I'm staying at one of the best hotels, okay, on my nickel, he's not paying it. And we take a cab to where he thought the meeting was, at our lawyer's office. Wrong building, wrong end of town. So now we're walking umbrellas. I can't remember if my umbrella busted first or his umbrella busted first. It's pissing. I'm in pissing rain. And I could see him sweating even through the rain. He's thinking, oh, I fucked this up. So I finally get to the board meeting where the guys, and they had laid out lunch and drinks and shit like that. And I'm soaked, but I got no place to change. And so and the board meeting goes smoothly from there on. But we could have given Andres 100 million latitude instead of the 8 or 10 million we gave him. But, you know, I don't know how many of you in this room we could trust with 100 million. And that's exactly what the board is going to think. In fact, you may not even squeeze 8 or 10 million out of them until they see you operate. These guys and gals are putting their fucking lifetime reputation. Who would put their lifetime reputation on this piece of dung? Who? That had more than a 40 IQ? Who? Are you fucking insane? And that's how they think. And the more risk they think is inherent in the young kids. And it is, because I've been screaming for 2 days, young kids make bad decisions. And they always have made bad decisions. Alexander the Great at 7, there's not too many Alexander the Greats at 17 or 19 he conquered the world. There aren't too many of those guys. There's not too many Joan of Arc, 14 years old, beat the fucking English back. And they don't think you're going to be one. Once you do deals, we're going to have a board meeting with Andres this summer. He will have done fucking maybe 30 deals by then. I mean, I can't see the board denying him whatever he asked for. And he's made all the board members 3 or 4 million. So, you don't question as hard. Yes, sir.
So for the time being, the board's got to approve everything you spend money on. The end.
Correct. Yes, sir.
So they get the LOI, or we get the LOI before
the board meeting. And you will have sent the LOIs to all the board members in their package, which you're going to get. Hold that thing up again for me, Jay, the agenda package. With that, electronically. And your board members, to a man or woman, when they see that fucking package, they will be in awe. Because never before in their corporate career will they seen something like that. Because I'm in awe. 50 years, I've never seen the document that well put together. You will be in awe. Now, some of you idiots don't even... You're supposed to redact and change the name and change the numbers, Some of you motherfuckers send a goddamn document, that document, to your board members with the wrong fucking information. How fucking stupid are you? Pretty fucking stupid. Some of you will use the gigs that have other people's names because all the documents you're going to get haven't been redacted out. You'll send a guy, Michael Pierce, a document from 1996. You won't even change the dates. How fucking stupid are you? Because you're in a hurry because you want to get a deal done. Because when you leave here, the longer it takes you to get a deal done, the higher the probability you're never going to get a deal done. And that's the fucking truth. Because some of you, like I said before, will look for a way to not make it happen. Self-sabotaging. And many of you, according to the documents that you sent me and you filled out, your first wife was a mistake. Your first kid was a mistake. Your mother's biggest regret is not, 1, marrying your father, 2, having you. Now, guys, I couldn't make this shit up. It's in your DNA. Stepping on your dick. As little as your dick is. And Asian dicks are little. Now, if I had an upsell, I wouldn't tell you all this shit. But I don't give a shit if you die tonight. And I mean it. Because I know it's a numbers game, and as long as I keep coaching, I'm going to throw up a few more billion. I know that. Where it's coming from, I don't know. I would have never expected the pig fucker, believe me. I wish he was here. God damn it. You know. You heard him though, didn't you? I'm not going to ask you how many of you could be sold by him, because you're going to lie. But just think, how many of you would have joined his rowboat to glory? He's got some big fucking hitters. His rowboat to glory. His rowboat to freedom, financial freedom. I feel like a preacher. How many of you? Maybe none. And certainly I wouldn't have. Look at it. And then whether you do it or you don't do it, just measure against him. Just measure against him. Because you've already figured out why the teenagers were able to do it. For years, Josh Kim, I told you, is a child prodigy. He's Michelangelo. Because you've got to come up with a reason, just as Tony said. You've got to come up with a reason and excuses. Who's my 5:30? 6. Anybody after that? 6:30. Okay. Oh, I wanted to give you something before. I just remembered. I'm giving you the little story about the richest lady in China who didn't take a day off for 26 years. And the only remembrance she has of her kids is painful. Her 2 daughters, who she saw not too much growing up. And both her daughters say that they don't admire anybody more in the world than their mom. Tough love. She wasn't there when they fell down when they were first born. All the things that you had done for you, none of it. And as disconcerting it is to you and the general public for that matter, tough love works. And that's why the Spartans took their kids away from the mothers at 7 or 8 years of age, and the ones that didn't make it, they threw in a ditch to die. So the only ones that were left, more or less, were tough motherfuckers. But what very few people know is, you know the movie 300, where the Spartans held off to whatever the fucking they were from the Middle East? Those 300 were all gay. They were lesbian, gay lovers, not lesbian, gay lovers. And the Spartans learned 100 years before that if you're fighting next to the one you love, you fight harder. They were all gay. You can Google fuck it. If the people, and I don't give a fuck what you are, but if they had put that on the advertisement for the fucking movie, nobody would have showed up except gay people. You fight harder, like, you fight if you're trying to, well, you guys maybe not. If you're trying to protect your wife, you fight harder. As opposed to, some old bitch. I don't know if they were lesbian gay, though. Romanian gay. Maybe they were Romanian gay. Or Chinese gay or Malaysian gay. Did they have Malaysia back in 300 BC? It was called something. Any questions? Chile.
Yes.
I know. Go ahead.
So we build the board.
Have you been to Antofagasta?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Go ahead.
We build the board. We get a few deals with LOIs. Then we get the board meeting, get the budget, and then
No. Oh, I see what you mean. How much you can spend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you go to the sellers to get the deal closed, right?
Hammer close them.
When the
I used to give out a hammer similar to this that you could carry in your briefcase to remember. But go ahead.
The question is, when do we go see the property with the industry expert?
Oh, no, well, no, when you're doing the due diligence.
Where in the step is that?
No, that's after. Due diligence after. That's a good question. You bring your industry experts, and you want to look at more than one. I mean, you don't go to Toledo, Ohio, or Athens, Greece for one deal. You take them because even though a lot of these guys got, remember, nothing to do and all day to do it. I mean, not all old guys travel well, meaning they get tired. Blah, blah. So you want 3 or 4 deals around a city, and you do the driving. Well, I had a driver, but you don't let them drive because I've had old guys fall asleep at the wheel. They don't teach you that at Harvard. I mean, we've had guys that fall asleep at the wheel, the old guys, and you're out there. And you don't, when you're really old guys, you only want to look at a couple properties or a couple of sites a day. I used to look at 5 or 6 a day, but you only want a couple because you don't want them to be so tired that they can't focus on the fucking job. And you'll ask them, "How are you doing?" "I'm fine." Yeah, they have some pride still. They have a lot of pride, and you're hanging your fucking hat on their opinion. You don't want these guys just to rubber stamp the fucking deal. And you got to give them a little lecture before. Now, if these deals are dog shit, I want to know they're dog shit. We're not buying shit just to buy shit. And I've gone through all these cycles. That's why I'm mentioning it. And the first time they tell you it's dog shit, they'll be hesitant. And they'll say, "Johnny," and it's normally after a couple of drinks, dinner, and you've been to see a couple of things and say, "Johnny, we think that we should, you told us to be candid." And they say real professional, "Yeah." And, but the number 2 site doesn't work. So your heart drops a little. And candidly, number 1 is marginal. You only look at 2 fucking things, right? One doesn't work and one's marginal. Because I used to want them to tell me, "Right, we're on the fucking property. What's wrong with it?" And the second one is, it's not fixable. That's why we didn't mention it. Number 1 is fixable when we say it's marginal. And I mean, even my heart used to sink. Fuck. But you want to know because you're not buying these to just buy them. As the Goomba brothers said, you got to run the fucking things. And everybody so far, it's the employees that fuck up the deal. And really what they're saying is your lack of management and lack of leadership. You don't know how to control the people. And Tony and Jason have pretty good leadership skills. But they're probably dealing with too many migrant Cubans, Anything else? The thing about, they have a website, these how to dress the people, which is pretty good. But basically the uniform works, and it's worked for countless years for me. And the article about the woman shows you the kind of sacrifices that are required. Because this model is based on human, but more emotional sacrifice. It just is. And the bottom line is, or at the end of the day, you will decide how much you're willing to take or endure. And when we're really saying that is how much you're willing to put your family through. And on the other side, how much will your family accept? I can tell you right now, without you even mentioning this to one person in your life, they will tell you, "Oh, yeah, we're supportive." And they're not. Well, I wasn't around my kids, and I have no guilt about that, and the kids know that. But I think that that's what will, bother, if that may be a wrong word, you guys that have kids the most. And if you have two working parents and have kids, so the mom is away at work, except for at night, and you are away for weeks at a time, that's a tough nut to fucking hump. If you've got a stay-at-home mom, you might get away with it. But if you got a working, I'm not telling you your wife should go fucking quit their jobs, because I know some of you are existing because of dual income. I understand that. I've been there. I never forget the first time my house was this last story. First time they tried to repossess my house. Remember, I started with a fax machine, a phone in a spare bedroom in my house in Los Angeles. And foreclosure notices in the 80s were so frequent, they used to send them in red envelopes. So you didn't mix them up with regular mail. Red. And I'm sitting in the room cold calling, and Dan Jr. comes in holding a red envelope, as they say in Texas. Daddy, we got a late Christmas card. Go! Did your mother see that? No. I still remember that. My stomach dropped, And I don't think Dan Jr. to this day knows this story. But I've been there, I haven't had my furniture taken away by the sheriffs like they do in some parts, but I've been pretty fucking close 3 times in my life. And there's no way to explain that to your significant other when she comes home and the furniture's not there. I don't care how fucking slick you are. There's just no way. Fortunately, I didn't have to explain the furniture because they never repossessed. I got some letters from the sheriff, back 5 months on this and 3 months on that. But I was a humping motherfucker. But as they say in all business, you drill 1,000 dry holes, the next one's got to be a gusher. That's the theory they bullshit investors for. I know better than that. So I know. A lot of you, I get bullshit emails. Oh, he's too rich, he doesn't remember. I fucking remember. Just talking about that made my stomach gurgle. I remember that feeling. It's a shitty place to be. Behind 2 years in taxes. I could write a fucking book. Fortunately, that was decades ago. But I know what the feeling is. And some of you are going to go through that. I can just tell you. If you pursue this balls to the wall, like the rabbi in Saudi at the kingdom, my hat's off to you. You got balls. That takes ironclad balls to go there. The shit he must be enduring. I can't imagine what they're doing to him. Plus, he's got a hair temper. He's got an anger management problem. I'm telling everybody in the world, I'm surprised he's not dead or in jail. Okay, kids, 5:30, I'll see you in a couple minutes, and I'll see all of you later.